Hi there! Many of you wanted to know more of Bernardo Provenzano. Now we do read and appreciate your comments, so here we are to discuss more about Binnu. The Mafia's history is full of dangerous characters known for their ferocity and power. Among them, Bernardo Provenzano is a man who stands out, for not only being the boss of Cosa Nostra since 1995, but for managing to break a record for being a fugitive, notching up almost 50 years keeping away from the long arm of the law. Ambitious and cruel, the mafioso earned numerous nicknames over time, such as Binnu Tratturi, or the Tractor, for the brutality used against enemies and victims, the Accountant for his agile and prepared mind, and Uncle Binnu. Provenzano marked a dark moment in the history of Italy, and his origins, relationships and experiences contributed to make him the so-called boss of bosses. Bernardo Provenzano was born in Corleone on January 31st, 1933. Of humble origins and third of 7 children, he left school in 2nd grade to go and help his father Angelo in the fields. The strenuous life as a farmer, however, does not prevent him from turning his attention to careers far more promising as a criminal. After all, Corleone is a country not known for its peacefulness, and was often upset by infighting and violence. The influence of this environment on the young Provenzano cannot have been small. The boy avoided compulsory military service because he was declared unfit, and this allowed him to join the group of criminals under the command of Luciano Liggio, or the Gang of Mascolidi, which includes Toto Raina and Calogero Bagarella. It's not long before he begins to make his way inside Cosa Nostra, thanks to his ability and speed in shooting. Provenzano first becomes a bodyguard, and is then employed in the business of illegal slaughterhouses. He's in charge of checking the meat and defending the goods from anyone. His talent leads him to rise in the hierarchy, and later he becomes a killer and Liggio's lieutenant. Bernardo doesn't just use violence to get his way. Aware that education can become an important tool to get to power, he decides to make up for the years lost in school by taking mathematics lessons from Vito Ciancimino, the Corleone politician who later ended up in prison for mafia association, thanks to the revelations of Buscetta. The commitment to study rewards Provenzano, who becomes skilled in accounting and earns the nickname of Accountant. Provenzano's first arrest took place in 1958, after the death of Michele Navarra. On September the 6th, in fact, Bernardo is involved in a guerrilla war between the followers of Liggio and the surviving Picciotti of Navarra. Corleone is celebrating the Feast of Our Lady of the Chain, but the celebrations are interrupted by the outbreak of conflict between the two groups. Bullets fly and some of Navarra's men die. Bernardo is wounded because he's hit in the head by shots from a lupara, a gun used in those days in Sicily, which technically means the wolf slayer. The carabinieri arrest him and he ends up in hospital. He'll later justify himself by telling the police the following: "I don't know who shot me. I was walking around minding my own business. I'd just finished eating at home with my mother and my brothers Simone, Salvatore and Giovanni. I went out alone to go to the cinema, but after 300 meters I felt a pain in my head and I lost consciousness, without understanding what had happened to me." The feud between the factions of Liggio and Navarra does not end there, and finds its epilogue in 1963. Provenzano leads a group of killers to kill Francesco Paolo Streva, a Navarra man. Streva had already escaped death by lupara, but his escape does not last long. Bernardo catches up with him and kills him along with 2 other men of honour. After the crime, Provenzano escapes and becomes a fugitive. He earns the nickname of the Ghost of Corleone because he disappears completely. Despite being a fugitive, Provenzano does not distance himself from the criminal world, from his crimes and from his acquisition of power. The turncoat called Calderone would later reveal his role in the massacre of Viale Lazio, one of the most violent confrontations in the history of Cosa Nostra. In fact, on the 10th of December 1969, a commando of killers break into the Moncada firm in Viale Lazio in Palermo. 5 killers are disguised as policemen. 1 is in civilian clothes. Amongst them, there's also Bernardo. His objective is to kill the boss of the Acquasanta family, Michele Cavataio, who's guilty of wanting to change the structure of Cosa Nostra. Cavataio had even drawn up an organisation chart with a new hierarchy according to his wishes. The boss, also known as the Cobra, was also to be punished for the murder of Salvatore Greco's right-hand man during the First Mafia War. Cavataio defends himself, and during the gunfight, Bernardo is wounded in the hand, but manages to complete his task, finishing off the man who was pretending to be dead by hiding under a table. It seems that this very occasion earns the mafioso the nickname Tractor. He was so fierce that whatever he passed, the grass no longer grew. In Sicilian dialect, Tratturi. The organisation chart of the boss of Acquasanta, according to rumours hidden in one of the socks that he was wearing, was never found. In the same year, Provenzano was acquitted in absentia of all charges of murder and other crimes in Corleone from 1958 onwards. He will continue to carry out his trafficking, and in 1974, following the capture of Ligeio, he will lead a new mafia war together with Raina and will conquer a prestigious role of power within Cosa Nostra. So, intriguing stuff. We have plenty more to come in a new video soon. So thanks once again for watching. Do keep those comments coming. We do read and take note of them all. And stay tuned for our next video. We'll see you next time.